Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the first issue of Harley Quinn, the animated series, Eat, Bang, Kill, Tool, Issue 1 comic review. Now, as you know, this one is meant to be the comic book continuation after the season final of the Harley Quinn TV series that ran on the DC streaming service, and there's going to be a third season that's going to be released on HBO Max. Now, the Harley Quinn TV series is meant to be more of an outrageous, over-the-top parody of the DC universe, with a bit of a message about knowing that there's people who care about you. So the cover mainly has Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy kissing, while others just look on. And it starts off on the Harley Quinn highway with them saying,
Yeah, you know, Ivy, I never thought that true love would get my adrenaline pumping like this.
And of course, we see how Gordon tries to get the other cops to start firing at Harley, and even mention that because of Harley's actions, releasing parademons, and well as most of the Gotham police turning into villains. We see how Ivy tries to use her powers, and we see how Gordon says, "I said pour over, damn it!"
Screw you, Gordo.
And of course we see how Harley mentions to the readers about the events that happened 2 years ago. How Harley Quinn defected from Joker and left him, and how she formed her own crew in that, and even tried to join the Legion of Doom to get respect and social acceptance. And even mentions how she fallen in love with Harley after the events with Bane in the pit. And even one of the officers say, "Wait, that's why you destroyed Gotham? 'Cause you were friend-zoned?"
Shut up. I said sorry, you know.
And of course, we see how Harley Quinn and Ivy managed to get away, as of course, Gordon says, "Don't you dare, damn it!" And of course, flies off, and we see Ivy saving Gordon, who says, "Don't ever say I did anything for you, asshole." And of course, they are amazed with the destruction they've caused, and you can tell Ivy does kind of feel bad about the wedding, as well as Kite Man. And of course, we see how Harley talks to the sane her, and mentions that Ivy just needs time to have someone who's there to be supportive in that. So of course, we see how Harley mentions about the events of going back into her brain and not wanting to go back into it again, given the fact that Harley froze up and Dr. Psycho, Ivy, King Shark and Nat went into her brain to get her back to normal. And of course, we see how they get back into their hideout, and of course end up in Harley's room. Now, fun fact, the reason why the picture is cut out was originally Dr. Psycho, and in the Harley Quinn TV series, Dr. Psycho betrayed the team and worked with Riddler, as well as doing some controlling the parademons and everything else. And even Harley Quinn's room, you have the pictures of the Cobb Squad during the whole Bachelorette episode, the actor who played Malcolm in the middle for Harley's affections, and we see how the news reports come on, and how the news reporter Twangy mentions about what happened during the old Gotham Corn Factory, and how other criminals like Nightfall, Black Manta, Livewire and that are now locked up, and even mentioning about the breakup with Ivy and Kite Man, now that everyone knows. And we see Ivy throwing the TV remote into the TV, and they pretty much have Ivy breaking down and crying, knowing there's something fishy. Of course, we see Gordon being rescued, and we kind of see how it's kind of shown that Gordon's only doing this to get respect and social acceptance, and wants a key to the city, as it was heavily implied that the mayor only did it to make himself look like a hero. And we kind of see how Twangy ends up making the situation a lot worse, and Gordon saying, "You want my exclusive, Twangy? here's your news. Harley Quinn, I'm coming for you. And even wants to kind of make sure that she's arrested and everything else. And we see Ivy breaking down and saying why didn't she pretend to be happy with Kite Man. And of course, much like every happy ever after, there's always going to come repercussions. And we see Poison Ivy saying, why did I fall for Harley? Why? And we see Harley looking for Ivy, and of course does try to be a friend. And this is the moment where they start to kiss and make up. And of course, this is where they start to definitely do it. And they decide to go on a sort of road trip and that to lay low, as well as basically find one of the old hideouts from Livewire, Killer Frost and that, and plan to sort of crash there. And of course, we see how Harley grabs her stuff and that, and we kind of see how Ivy does kind of have more of a neutral side, that you know she's not sure if her and Harley should be together. And of course, we see Harley getting into the car and Gordon finding their next track, which is going to be Catwoman's place. And yeah, this is the story. So I think issue 1 isn't too bad. I think it definitely shows the after effects of season 2 quite well, as you can kind of tell Ivy does have more of a mixed feeling about her relationship with Harley, and it's kind of clear that Gordon is going to drive himself deeper to the deep end just to get social acceptance and approval. So I think the story just definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.